Just answering questions with WabTech on the channel. Do you think there's any correlation between Trump spewing racist remarks and somebody targeting minorities in a senseless rampage? It doesn't matter which one. Can someone be pushed over the edge by the president's rhetoric? This morning, Trump blamed a big part of his recent shootings, on violence that our young men are exposed to in video games, directing the Justice Department to work with game manufacturers on this. I think if we quit putting guns and tanks under control of 18-year-olds, demand that our president stop trying to convince the world that his dick is the biggest and the most powerful on the planet, we could stop a lot of the violence. By the way, WabTech, the bump stock was nothing but a toy that should never have been attached to a real weapon. I truly agree with you on that. It was really worthless, except for shooting literally ducks in a barrel. Again, no one will ever hijack an airplane and use it in a suicide attack, but it didn't happen. All of our assumptions should be questioned. Peace, love, happiness. If you needed to dry out, I have 3 couches in a 2-bedroom in Scottsdale, Arizona. Well, thank you, unnamed person. You shouldn't have put your first name or anything in there. But I do appreciate your commentary. So to answer all of this, Donald Trump is not actually responsible for doing this. Here, I actually said it. I know that sounds extremely bad, but here's the problem. No, it's not the standard argument you're going to hear. Every president has had their war. Every president is, it's not that they're given it on a silver platter to prove that they're powerful or whatever. It's that every time a U.S. president is in office, sometime during their position in office, someone will attempt to test limits with the U.S. government and do it, in the case of, let's say, North Korea, to prove that they can pick a fight with a big bully. Because North Korea paints themselves internally. They don't care what the rest of the world thinks. They paint themselves as constantly being under threat of invasion by the U.S. government, and that's literally what they tell everybody in their population. No, that's not American propaganda. That's literally what they fucking do. This has been repeatedly confirmed by people visiting the country and showing that they don't give a fuck. They let that freak flag fly. And we're on a planet with countries that are constantly jockeying for position and gaining power and control and influence over other countries, rather than having open wars. And if we're going to have a culture where we basically have people who are way too young to adapt to this kind of stuff, I'm sorry, we're not grown-ups at 18 when it comes to this kind of shit. I don't think we're ever grown-ups. I'm 50, and I am capable of understanding whether or not I could fight a war. That's it. That's as far as I've gotten. I've had enough shit happen to me. I know. The song 19, if you want to listen to it, the average age of people entering World War I were 35 years old. When it was Vietnam, it was 18. Or 19. Actually, is the name of the song. Excuse me. But blaming the shootings on the president's rhetoric, that's not actually it. We as a society have stopped telling stupid people that they're stupid. Well, you can't call them retarded, and I know. What I'm saying is, acknowledge that people are stupid. Everybody's stupid. I am completely ignorant right now. I have a mouse here, and I'm absolutely ignorant of the exact technology the LED is based on. I'm stupid. There's nothing wrong with that. I can adapt and learn. But if you don't acknowledge that you don't know something, you can't learn anything. The first step in learning something is realizing you need to. And in our society, we don't acknowledge and refuse to retract this acknowledgement that people are stupid. I'm going to bring up my favorite examples. Somebody gets caught drunk driving. Give them a choice. You can lose your driver's license for life or lose the legal capacity to buy alcohol all over the United States. Therefore, if you want to stay an alcoholic, you can leave the country and you can still drive. Or you have to stop driving and you can be an alcoholic. You have to choose what is more important. It's the alcohol or being able to use a car. If you have a person who has not actually harmed anybody, but they've misused a weapon, do you take their gun rights away? I think yes in some cases, other cases no. We have to, as a population, figure this out. If a person sits an inordinately long period of time warming up their car in 70-degree weather after midnight, should they be legally flogged? Yes. So anyway, and then you did a Q-turn badly. You can't parallel park in the middle of a desert, can you? I think everyone should be required to take a driving test every 5 years. That would make me happy. Okay, I'll get on with this. Do I really believe that Donald Trump is enabling or empowering or emboldening ignorant, violent, stupid people? Of course he is. Do I think he's actually responsible for the shooting? No. Because these violent, stupid people are going to show up in Portland, Oregon and protest and counter-protest and tear apart my city again. And I'm going to have to avoid being in town. I know people personally who want to show up because they want to counter it. You know how you counter a protest like that? Don't have one. I'm sorry, but in the past when we had neo-Nazis walking up and down the streets, we ignored them. The press were told simply this: don't put them on television. They didn't do a march more than once or twice a decade. They avoided doing it because basically nobody looked at them except passersby who looked at them and just, they bellowed into they yelled into the void. Now we put them front page. Some kids wearing Make America Great Again hats, standing still, not knowing what to do, caught between two argumentative groups. One very specific group that's really annoying that you should really acknowledge. We have an internet full of people that don't acknowledge when they're wrong, and they don't have to. You're not allowed in college or in schools now to tell people that's not what happened in history. They can make up fake histories, and it's acceptable. It's not creative writing class. It's treated as being part of history. Well, it's an alternative way of viewing reality. No, that's called insanity. There are just some things that are real and some things that aren't. We do not hold people to a standard like that. And the smirking hatred of academia requiring that you acknowledge tectonic plates actually move. Yes, Donald Trump made a comment about tectonic plates. Plate tectonics, really. He said so many massively ignorant things, and people cheer him for just the gut feeling of it, because they don't want to have to live in a world where they can be told you're not smart or you're wrong. That's our actual problem. It's our society. Donald Trump isn't a cause, he's a symptom. Thanks for watching.